Hey ladies, it's Nola Brantley here from Los Angeles, California. For 15 years, I was a leader in the nonprofit sector. For the last 7 years, I've been training professionals across disciplines with a huge emphasis on self-care. So, I am here to talk to you today about beautiful boundaries. They are a beautiful thing, and really healthy boundaries, strong boundaries, they help make everything else possible. And so they are really an important piece of foundation to lay in our lives. Boundaries truly show where one thing ends and another begins, like our work and home life, for example. And setting boundaries is a crucial aspect of our mental health and our overall well-being. So, boundaries are our values, expectations, principles, or limits that we establish to keep ourselves feeling safe physically, emotionally, and mentally. Boundaries help us take care of ourselves by giving us permission to do what? Say no to things and to not take everything on, which can be challenging. Setting healthy boundaries is really about permitting yourself to be you, an individual. It communicates to everyone what you stand for, what you're willing to do, as well as what you are not willing to do. And those are really important things for people around you to know. Boundaries give us a sense of power and control over our physical space, over our thoughts, feelings, and even over our behaviors. When you set boundaries, you express to others that you respect yourself, that you respect others, that you respect your time, and you also respect all of those wonderful skills and talents that you come with. Maintaining healthy boundaries, again, is a foundation of good self-care. And indeed, it's really impossible to have good self-care if you don't have good boundaries. They really do go hand in hand. Setting healthy boundaries can have lots of benefits, including helping people make decisions based on what is best for them. Can I say that again? Making decisions based on what is best for them, not just the people around. This autonomy, it is such an important aspect of self-care. Healthy boundaries, are important in all areas of our life, but healthy boundaries at work actually lead to more fulfillment and less stress, which then makes us more available in our personal life. So, boundaries that we practice at work impact our personal life and vice versa. And when we don't set boundaries, even though they can be challenging to set, even though people can challenge them a lot, when we don't set them, we feel depleted. Oftentimes, we feel super taken advantage of and taken for granted, or even that people are intruding upon our space, our time, our whole entire life. Poor boundaries lead to things like resentment, anger, and one thing that happens a lot in our field that we try to avoid, burnout. A lack of healthy boundaries can negatively affect really not just one area or the other, but all aspects of a person's life. But this is the thing about building boundaries. Building boundaries goes against our innate human desire to be loved and accepted, right? Because we all have that desire. So oftentimes, if we're not being really intentional and aware, we can ignore building them, right? They're not easy to set and communicate, and yet they're an essential ingredient to our health. And so that presents a little bit of a challenge for us, but I think you ladies are up for the challenge. So one big important thing about being able to set and maintain boundaries is learning to show compassion and kindness, not to others, but to ourselves. Showing compassion and kindness to ourselves is a big part of being able to set and maintain healthy boundaries, right? Because we're worth it and we deserve them. The first part of setting boundaries is really examining what areas of your life, both professional and personal, where either boundaries exist that are working or where there's an obvious lack of boundaries existing. And to set boundaries, a big part of it is being able to simply say no to things, right? And not needing to explain. If you find yourself getting caught up in the over-explaining, stop yourself. This is a crucial part of setting boundaries, is not feeling like you need to explain to other people why you have these boundaries in place, or at least not to over-explain. Setting boundaries also, and this could be really challenging for people both in their personal and professional life, I think maybe more so in personal, but setting boundaries sometimes requires letting people around you, even people that you love, sometimes even your children, make mistakes and in some cases even fail. Setting boundaries is not always comfortable, and people oftentimes try to push back if you say no. When this happens, what we're going to do is communicate those boundaries more clearly. We're not going to give up. We're not going to kind of give in, but we're going to communicate those boundaries more clearly. People will try to test your limits, really to see how serious you are about drawing that line. And so it's really up to each one of us individually to draw that line and to really teach and train the others around us about our boundaries. People may be very, very well used to you responding a certain way. Maybe you've been a yes person. And so when you start to make some changes, people may be taken back. That's okay. You still want to move forward with setting the boundaries. Those who love and care about you will understand over time. And when people push back on your boundaries, you just need to be clear again and consistent so that they can get used to this new way of interacting. We do teach and train people really how to treat us and how to engage with us. And so when we make those shifts within ourselves, we have to reteach and retrain people that are in our lives. If there are people that refuse to respect our boundaries, either in our personal or professional relationships, the reality is those may be relationships we need to reevaluate. And I totally understand that setting boundaries may look different and have a different level of challenge depending on the dynamics of the relationship and also who that person is. So setting a boundary with kind of my boss or my board may feel and look different than setting a boundary with my spouse, which may feel and look different than setting a boundary with one of my friends. So it's important that we kind of get a sense of what that feels like for us, but recognizing that regardless of who the person is and what power they may or may not hold in our lives, we have to set healthy boundaries for our own sake. Again, setting boundaries is a huge part of not only our self-care practice, but also our self-love practice. As we love and care for ourselves more and more, we realize and understand why we deserve to have boundaries in our life.